Welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Craig. Today we're talking about guides and mentors, how important they are. But did you know they come in so many different shapes and sizes? So we're going to sit down with a guide. This guide is going to guide me down the road with a blindfold on, because at the end of the day, some of the best guides we have a vision for our future. Today we're talking to SA guide dogs. We're going to go sit and talk to Lindsay, who's sitting just behind me now. But if you're new to the channel, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, because it helps all of us out as much as possible. So let's go chat to Lindsay and enjoy. Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us on Coffee with Craig today. I want to find out more about SA guide dogs. And what I actually want to do is I want to experience what it's like to be a blind person guided by one of your dogs, if that's okay with you.
Wow, yes, you can. It's going to be quite an experience.
So, if I couldn't think of what it's like to be a blind person where I'm going to put all my trust into an animal, let alone a person. So I think that would be an amazing thing to experience for the first time.
Yeah.
To show people what it's like. But you guys are an amazing organization. What all do you do?
So we train guide dogs to assist people that are visually impaired. We go from puppies, we raise the puppies ourselves, and we use puppy raisers to raise them for us. It takes 2 years until they're ready to start training. That whole process costs us over 100,000 Rand per dog.
So that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And now, who pays for that?
So we thankfully have wonderful sponsors who donate to us in different various ways, but it is not charged to the person who takes on the dog.
So not to the owner of the dog?
No.
How much would they pay?
So they actually pay 5 Rand.
5 Rand?
They pay 5 Rand to us to sign a contract with us, as well as a 200 Rand fee to assist us with the cost of accommodation and catering when they come for their training. So they stay with us for 2 weeks for their training, and then they go back to their home for 2 weeks further training. So it's 4 weeks training total.
Okay. So for the rest of the time, it's all people that are donating money and sponsors?
Yes, we do have some wonderful sponsors that cover things like dog food and things, stuff like that, so that's wonderful. But there are a lot of costs that come into it, medical costs, the cost of training equipment, the actual trainers themselves are really...
and running the whole operation?
Running the whole operation, as you can imagine, for any non-profit, it is a big undertaking. So there is a huge cost involved.
So Lindsay, how difficult is the actual training itself?
It can be quite difficult, but I think you can manage. We'll introduce you to Megan. She's our guide dog mobility instructor. I think she'll help you out.
Okay, all right, so let's go meet Megan. Let's go find out how to do the actual walking with one of the guide dogs. I've got my blindfold ready, and then allow one of the dogs to take us through to the next place, and hopefully I don't get knocked over by a car and we arrive safely at the next place. Megan, so thank you for having us here at the guide dog facility. I'm going to put on a blindfold, so I'm going to almost reenact what it's like to be blind and then have a guide dog guide me through the process. Yeah. But I obviously need to know how this works.
Yeah.
So do you want to show me the starting steps of the harness?
Of course. So basically when we're working with dogs, we want to be as clear with them as possible about what we want them to do. So in order to do that, we need to give them a verbal signal, a physical signal, and a hand and foot signal. Okay. So how we're going to do that is, let me just first show you how you're going to hold the handle. Okay. So you're going to hold it with your fingers like that.
Okay.
So on your left hand side.
On the left hand.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're always trained on the left hand side. Nice and relaxed, just with your front knuckles and thumb off. Perfect. Good. And you can actually hold this lead in between the first 2 fingers. So yeah,
like that.
There we go. Nice and relaxed. Your arm is always relaxed. Okay. And basically, the first position is what we call number 1 position. So that is the position you're always going to come to when the dog comes to a stop.
Okay.
Okay. So that means that you're in line with the dog's shoulder blades, which will be here. So it feels weird because your hand is sort of out there.
Okay.
But it doesn't look weird.
Okay.
It's just, yeah. Perfect. Good. Okay, so from this position, we're going to do our first thing, which we call a forward. Okay, so how to do that is we step back half a pace with our right foot. Yeah,
right foot.
Good. Then you're taking your right hand like you are swinging a ball, for instance. So you're going like this, and you're saying forward.
Forward.
And you only go when your dog moves forward.
Okay. So when he leads the way.
He leads the way, yeah. So for the left turn, we're going to step back half a pace with the left foot.
Okay.
Good. The right foot half a pace. Good. And then you're taking your right hand, slapping your thigh, and at the same time you're saying left.
Left.
Your dog is then going to do this, and you can follow. Good. All the way around. Good. To the left.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
And then the last one, just go back into number 1 position. Good. Is a right turn. So how we do that is again step back half a pace with the right foot. You're turning with the left foot, sorry, and you're turning your right foot out to the side.
Oops.
And you're swinging. Occupational hazard. Right.
Right.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
So that's basically the basics.
So we're going to give that a go.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see how it works out with a real dog.
Yeah.
So now that Megan has showed me how the harness works and a couple of commands, I'm going to experience what it's like to be blind. I'm going to put on a blindfold and be guided by one of these amazing dogs to our next destination. So here we go.
Another sip.
Oh, hello. Okay.
You see, there are just dogs at the end of the day. Baby.
So,
So up to the dog's shoulder blades.
well, is that over here?
Yeah. Good.
Okay. We're still inside, eh? All right. So let's try and do this. Forward.
Good. Good. You're gonna move when she goes.
Oh,
Good.
oh
There you are.
shit. Forward. Find the curb.
Hello, straight to the.
Well, straight to the curb.
You can feel with your foot where you are.
Okay.
All right.
Bailey's
She's
quite
doing
quick,
it, don't
eh?
worry. Do you think she's fast?
She feels fast. Feels like we're going super fast.
Straight on. There we go. Good.
What do you say? Hop, hop.
Hop up.
Hop up.
Hop up. Yeah.
All right.
Job.
Up.
Straight on. Good.
Good, Bailey.
Good job. Good.
Okay. Nice work, Bailey. Keep going. Well done, Bailey.
Tell her
Yes.
she's doing a good job.
Good job. Good job.
Good. Well done. To your right.
All right, there you go.
So good. Straight on. Go with her. Go with her. Go with her. Good. There we are.
All right, we stop.
Good stuff. Well done. We've arrived at our destination.
We're finally here.
How do you
Okay.
feel?
That was quite stressful. It was probably a little bit harder than I was expecting, but yeah, won't just take that for granted again.
Yeah, it gives you a
Jeepers.
whole different perspective
Yeah.
on what
But
it's
that,
like to
yeah,
be
but that was
blind, right?
it was amazing. It was amazing that she knew all the different curbs and how to
Yeah.
guide us here. Yeah, I'm going to take the blindfold off and see who Bailey is. Sure,
Right.
he is right. Hello, we made it. Sure.
She's pretty, eh?
Yeah, hello.
Little dark spot on her nose.
Oh, she's tiny.
Yeah.
Hello. So we've now made it here to the park, led by Bailey, and we've got someone new that we're going to introduce to you. We're going to introduce to you someone that is blind and has a working dog that's guiding him through his life at the moment, so that we get not only me experiencing it for the first time, but a real life person who's been guided and putting all of their faith into one of these beautiful creatures. So we're going to meet Jeremy with his dog, Ronnie. Jeremy, thank you so much for taking out the time to chat with us today. So I had my experience of being guided by my dog over here.
Yeah.
And it was a scary experience. But now I've taken my blindfold off and I can see and I can experience life as per normal.
Yeah.
You're someone that has been blind your whole life.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us, growing up, being blind, you obviously had to learn to adapt to your environment, to life.
Sure. Well, it was complicated with me because I had a lot more visual. I'm what's called visually impaired, or was then. I had low vision for the first 40 odd years of my life, and which was still legally blind. So there are many things I couldn't do, like driving and reading paper and things like that. But from a mobility point of view, it wasn't too bad. And then the cane, as the vision deteriorated, I've got to use the cane. And then as it deteriorated even more, I realized that the dog would be the best thing. So it's been a moving feast.
All right, so you obviously haven't had the dog your entire life?
No, only 14 years.
14 years. So how old were you when you first got a guide dog?
I was 44.
44.
Yeah.
All right, so you're quite later on in life.
Yeah,
40 years of no guide dog.
Yeah.
Why did you want to have a guide dog?
Because I was realizing that my independence was definitely suffering. My confidence of getting around, going into shops, going to places, catching a train, was definitely suffering, and I was aware that the dog was going to make a big difference there.
All right. So, and your first guide dog that you got, can you remember his or her name?
Absolutely. His name was Barkley.
Barkley.
Yeah.
All right.
He was a terrific
And how did
dog.
Barkley change your life, being your guide dog?
Well, I mean, it was being my first dog. Of course, you completely fall in love with this animal when you realize how to work with him, and you realize the power that mobility independence gives you, and you can't underestimate it, or you can't understate it. And so I was able to do the things, and I would be ambitious, go on long walks, I used to catch trains all the time, but catching a train became easier. Navigating Cape Town station suddenly became easier. Getting to places in town, I would teach him routes, and then I wouldn't have to worry too much, and he would take me to those
And
places.
how did you, so now having a new bond with Barkley, how did you turn over like your trust to allow him to guide you? Because that can't, I know for me now, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if my guide dog was going to guide me into a car or into a wall.
Exactly, and we all learn that. Every one of us make that mistake of thinking, is he going to, do I know? And you're concerned and you hold back. And the funniest thing is we often second guess the dog, and we almost always come short.
Okay.
Bang into a pole, walk off a pavement when you
When
don't
you're
listen
not
to the
trusting
dog.
him.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, I think it's such a nice metaphor for life is to have a guide or a mentor guiding you through life, because they need to become your eyes.
Yep.
If you don't have eyes to take you to your destination.
Yep.
Having a guide dog, has it changed your life since you got a guide dog?
No question. In the sense of my confidence, my ability to concentrate on what's important, rather than to flap about, the getting around and the.
Could you ever imagine not having a guide dog anymore?
Not anymore. I would be really lost without a guide dog now. In a sense, I've almost become dependent on having a dog.
Jeremy, have you ever had any funny experiences with any of your guide dogs?
Oh, absolutely. I've got an hysterical experience that I often relate.
Yes.
And it's involving going into a place. You see, my job is, I'm a diversity practitioner, specializing in disability integration. And so I'm very conscious of the kinds of rights and wrongs, right? Now, we're allowed to take the dog pretty much everywhere. There's very few places you can't take a dog. And so the problem is we're often accosted by over keen security people saying, no, you can't come in. Anyway, the one time I walked into a building in town, and it was quite early days of having Barkley. In fact, I was quite a newbie in the whole thing. And I walked into this building, and Barkley was taught that to go towards the counter where there's usually some reception, right?
Okay.
And we're walking up towards the reception, and before I even got to the reception counter, a big voice shouted out from the darkness, "No, sir, you cannot bring your dog in here. Can't you read? There's the sign." So I smiled. Now, a lot of guys get angry with this sort of thing, but I don't. I smiled at him and I said, no, it's fine. He's a guide dog. He can come in. And he said, "No, sir, it doesn't matter what breed of dog it is. He can't come in." And to me, in all the funny things that happen, I think I always go back to that one.
Talking about that kind of thing, do you have any guidance for someone that's getting a dog for the first time?
Yes.
What lessons would you
plunge. A lot of guys are nervous. A lot of guys are a bit they're a bit fussy. Oh, I'm not sure I'd want that dog if I got it. I'm not sure if I'd want that dog if I got it. And I said, just go with the flow, man. Don't be too precious about it. The dog will change your life if you allow it to.
Okay, I think that's important.
You can't still try and be in control. And this is where some guide dog owners fail. They're tough guys throughout, and they honestly believe that the dog is secondary and they know best. And you've actually got to relinquish power somewhat and let go and trust the dog and trust the training of the dog and listen. That's the other thing. Listen, even if it's your second, third, fourth, fifth dog, you've all got to go back for training again. Another big mistake that guide dog owners make. On their third, fourth dog, they think, you know what do I need this for? I've already had 3 dogs. Actually, you do. You need the training as much as anybody, probably more, because you've learned bad habits. So go back to training and start from scratch again, and it will work for you.
Okay, that's a good lesson. So I mean, you need to have a guide in your life. You need to have someone showing you where to go in life, and you have to trust in them wholeheartedly, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Even if you think you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, guide dogs are amazing creatures.
They certainly are.
You said it's completely changed your life, given you confidence, allowed you from a working point of view to be who you really are by having that dog, which is amazing. So yeah, it's an amazing story that you have. So thank you for joining us, and thanks for sharing your story with us.
Pleasure.
Of the difference that these dogs have made in your life.
Magic.
So
Thank you. Craig.
Thank you
very much.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of Coffee with Craig in the bag. If you thought Bailey did a great job guiding me down the road, go and smash that like button. Hey, even leave a comment for him. I'm going to leave a link in the description if you want to donate money to this amazing organization. They do incredible work. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, meeting some furry friends, meeting the team at SA Guide Dogs. But we will be back next week Wednesday with another episode for you. Until then, we'll see you soon.